It's amazing. This person thinks in line with you. This person thinks about everything that you have to do when you engage a customer for the very first time. He's written 2 books, The Discovery Sales Process. He is the author and creator of Creative Selling. He is on too many boards to mention, and also author, and so speaker. Everything I can say about Paul would be too little. I would like to just take a warm welcome to say, here is Paul William Clarke. All right. Hello, Denver. How you doing? Thanks for the warm welcome, an unbelievable welcome. You know, unbelievable is a word that you can use for anything. And I'll give you an example. So we're going to talk about this discovery sales process. I'm going to share a lot of things with you. But as we get moving, it's important for me to understand, when you came to this conference, what was it that you were hoping to take with you? And I know that Doug asked a question earlier, and you guys all wrote down something you wanted to leave here with. But get square in your mind right now. What is it you'd like to leave with as it relates to sales? Think about that. And Susan's going to pick on a couple of you right now. Show of hands. Anybody who's got something in mind? Wait for the mic.
Kathy.
Kathy, go ahead, please.
I want to know how to close the deal.
Want to know how to close the deal, but you're not having trouble with that now, are you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. In what way?
Just the fact that people come in and you talk to them about equipment and they're very excited about it, and you think that they're going to say, okay, get that together for me, and I'll, come back when it's all put together, and they walk out the door and say, I'll be back, and they don't ever come back.
And they never come. Who has that? Show of hands right now. Who has it? Are you frustrated? Do you know the prospects have a system and a method? I'm going to share the prospect system, how they orchestrate their process to derail you from your selling process so they can do exactly what this lady is talking about right now. However, each and every one of you have an imaginary number that we could calculate if we had some intelligence. If I asked you how many people walk through your door, how many people say I'm interested in scuba diving lessons, and how many actually become scuba divers with your store, you'd be able to come up with a percentage. We'd call that a closing ratio, correct? Right? Does anybody use that intelligence, track that kind of information? Anybody at all in the room? Even one person who could lie? All right. But that's information we may not have. But somewhere deep down, I'll bet you have an idea or a feel for how many customers you convert out of, let's say, 10. So let me ask you, out of 10 opportunities, meaning someone who calls, someone who comes in and asks you about scuba lessons or becoming a diver with your store, how many do you convert to a diver with your store? What's that number? Anybody at all. What's your number? What is that value? It would be hard to calculate, but it's immense. And that's just one customer that you didn't get that now you will. What happens if we make that 2? What happens if we consider that cycle of every 10 and get one more out of every 10? How many 10s do you get? Lots of 10s, lots more customers. How does that incrementally grow your business? Significantly, right? He said it. Let's hear it. What is it? It's unbelievable. All right. Where am I going?
You lead me towards safety, or opening my mind to look at other.
Where am I going? Okay, so now I'm going to take that because I don't sell scuba certification courses. It's tough for me to move through it. But now I'm going to move through the process and talk about some of the differences. And I might even use the analogy, there's a couple type of card holders that end up finishing scuba lessons. Number one is the kind of card holder that tells any scuba retailer in the world that yes, it's okay to fill the tanks. And there's another scuba retailer or another scuba certification program that at the end of it ensures that that scuba diver is a safe and effective scuba diver for the longevity of their good health and practice and so on and so forth. Thank you. All right, you see where I might go with that? You see how I might change that around to just open their mind that there's a difference. And that difference is what you bring to the table. Now, what really differentiates? Yes, sir.
That difference is the SSI difference.
Hey, what do you think of that? Unbelievable. But that's the difference. And you could say it's SSI. It's the things that they put together for you. But it's also you. They couldn't do it without you. And what really makes a difference is the personal care and commitment that you have to implementing the processes that have been laid out in a systematic formula to ensure that everyone who walks through your program comes out a safe scuba diver. And I know that's what you really want, isn't it? All right, good. And the guy who owns the dive shop says, well, geez, Fritz was in the other day, and he bought a new set of fins. I'm like, what? What's the deal with the new fins? I thought he just bought new fins. He says, well, I don't know. He just figured he needed a new set of fins for this trip. And I'm like, okay. So I got what I needed and headed out. And a couple days later, we're at lunch and we're talking. And I says, Fritz, what's the deal with the new fins? He says, well, those fins are, like turbo fins, and you can swim a little faster. I'm like, what's that got to do with anything? He says, well, we're swimming with sharks. I'm like, Fritz, you're not going to outswim a shark. He says, I don't have to. I only have to outswim you. I tell you that story as we close things out because in business isn't won and lost by large margins. It's the small things. It's that little difference, that subtle difference that you bring to the table every day that you put the key in the lock at your store. I wish you all the success that each and every one of you truly deserve. Thanks for having me today.
You are the bomb. Thank you.
You're welcome.